The series begins by showing a high school student from Jusin High School who looks very frightened and is trying to avoid something chasing him. Just as the student calls someone for help, a car suddenly hits him, causing his death. The scene shifts to a few years after the incident, showing the hustle and bustle of learning activities at the elite Jusin High School, which is very luxurious and equipped with extracurricular facilities not found in ordinary schools. On that day, the students gather to attend a welcoming event for new students who have passed the rigorous selection of the scholarship program. Among the students from middle-class backgrounds who passed the scholarship selection is Kang Ha. At that moment, Kang Ha is asked by the principal to give a speech. While Kang Ha is speaking and sharing how hard he worked to become a student at the elite Jusin High School, the student's attention is suddenly diverted by the arrival of a new student. It turns out that this student, Kim Rian, is the son of the conglomerate owner of Jusin High School, making him the highest-ranking student at the school. This is evident when the event ends. The other students do not immediately disperse, but wait for Rian to leave first. This confuses Kang Ha as the new and innocent student, and he is asked for his phone contact by Yoon Hera, who is also a conglomerate's child and a friend of Rian. It's unclear why Hera asks for his phone number, considering Kang Ha is just a middle-class student. Unfortunately, Kang Ha received unpleasant treatment while at Jusin High School. As a scholarship student, he is looked down upon and considered poor by other students. Even when choosing a seat, Kang Ha is ostracized and no one wants to sit with him. But Kang Ha remains calm in response to their arrogant behavior. On the other hand, the conglomerate circle, consisting of Rian, Hera, and Lee Woo-jin, are talking about their respective activities. When Woo-jin steps away for a moment, Hera immediately teases Rian because it turns out she is interested in Rian, who is still anxiously waiting for his beloved to return. Hera then offers herself to replace the special woman Rian is waiting for, but Rian dismisses it, thinking Hera is just joking. It turns out the special woman Rian has been waiting for is Jung Jae-yi, who just returned from abroad and has also been eagerly awaited by her close friend and Hera. Not long after, Hera's true nature of betraying her friends became apparent. On the way home, Hera asked Jae-yi what she had been doing abroad and why her relationship with Rian seemed tense. Hearing this, Jae-yi explained that she had been busy abroad taking care of her niece, but she did not answer about her relationship with Rian. She only asked Hera to invite Rian and Woo-jin to meet at the circuit the next day because she had something important to tell Rian. At the same time, Rian, who hears about Jae-yi's return, is shocked, remembering that he hasn't seen her for 3 months. The next day, Jae-yi first attends a formal event with her father, the owner of a large company called Jaeul Group. However, the relationship between Jae-yi and her father has been distant since he expelled and divorced Jae-yi's biological mother. Now, Jae-yi lives with her mother and step-siblings, who do not seem to like her very much. During the event, Jae-yi is scolded by her father for not dressing elegantly like a conglomerate's daughter should, and he asks her to change her clothes. Hearing this, Jae-yi was disappointed with her father's treatment. As a result, she threw away her clothes and decided to leave in anger. Kang Ha, who happens to be there because he previously worked part-time as a pianist, is astonished by Jae-yi's beautiful and cute face. Even when Jae-yi looks at him, Kang Ha is flustered by her cold but beautiful charm. At that moment, Jae-yi asked Kang Ha to lend her his shirt, and Kang Ha, feeling sorry for Jae-yi who was only wearing a tank top, gladly lent her his shirt despite having to endure the cold. This moment marked the beginning of Kang Ha and Jae-yi's encounter. After that, Jae-yi goes to meet Hera and Woo-jin, who are already waiting for her at the circuit, where Woo-jin immediately hugs Jae-yi after not seeing her for a long time. Shortly after, Rian arrives, but a sharp look of hatred appears on Jae-yi's face as Rian approaches her. Unfortunately, no one knows what really happened, not even Rian, who is puzzled by Jae-yi's strange behavior. Amidst the confusion, Jae-yi suddenly challenges Rian to a race with the wager that the loser must grant the winner's request. Curious, Rian accepts Jae-yi's challenge, and the race between Korea's crazy rich kids begins, where Jae-yi in her Ferrari against Rian in his Lamborghini. In the midst of the intense race, Rian was forced to yield because Jae-yi was driving recklessly, almost causing an accident, which automatically made her the winner of the race. Rian, unconcerned about his loss, approached her out of worry, but Jae-yi immediately asked for something from him because she was the winner. At that moment, Jae-yi asks Rian to accept her decision to end their relationship. This request shocks Rian, and he asks for the reason why Jae wants to break up with him. However, Jae does not provide a clear reason and only says that it is her current wish. Because of this, Rian feels disappointed and sad that their relationship has to end, recalling many beautiful moments they shared, and he seems unable to accept her unilateral decision. Feeling confused and puzzled by Jae's sudden decision to end their relationship, Rian seeks advice from his circle at school. Hearing this, Haera feels that Jae wants to confirm something with Rian, or more precisely, that she wants Rian to apologize to her. Haera then suggests that Rian apologize to Jae at a party they will be holding that night. During their conversation, Kang-ha suddenly walks into the stands, causing the other scholarship students to immediately drag him away. The leader of the scholarship students, Chan-min, reminds Kang-ha not to dare approach or disturb the conglomerate circle, especially Rian and Jae, if he does not want to meet a bad end because they are the most influential people with the highest hierarchy at Jusin High School. Hearing that, Kang-ha did not look panicked at all and calmly said that he would befriend Rian's circle to make his school affairs easier. This left Chan-min speechless at Kang-ha's words. With confidence, Kang-ha immediately approached Rian and introduced himself, but Rian ignored him completely. Seeing this, Haera laughed at Kang-ha's innocent behavior and invited him to come to the party they were holding to welcome the new students. That night, Kang-ha attended a party invitation from Haera, where the party revealed the poor morals and ethics of the elite Jusin High School student, who shamelessly enjoyed the party while drinking. This left Kang-ha confused by their actions. Seeing Kang-ha arrive, Haera immediately invited him to accept a drinking challenge as a form of welcome. Initially, Kang-ha refused because he didn't like drinking, but after being continuously pressured, he finally drank the alcohol. Unfortunately, Haera's circle had spiked the drink with something that made Kang-ha dizzy and nauseous. Meanwhile, Jae, who was already there, suddenly received a threatening message from a mysterious account that knew all her dark secrets. Amid her anxiety, Rian asked Jae to meet, where he then followed Haera's advice to apologize to Jae and ask why she ended their relationship. However, Jae again did not give any reason and asked Rian to accept her decision, leaving Rian even more frustrated with her words. Back to Kang-ha, who now faced a new challenge from Haera to kiss a girl at the party. Without hesitation, Kang-ha immediately rushed to find a girl to kiss. At the same time, a fact was finally revealed that Kang-ha is the younger brother of the boy who was hit by a car in the opening scene. It turns out that the reason Kang-ha enrolled in the elite school was to uncover the mastermind behind his older brother's death. Kang-ha then speculates that the person responsible for his brother's death might be Rian and his circle. Because of this, Kang-ha then approaches Jae and kisses her in front of Rian, causing Rian to become furious and immediately slap him. Elsewhere, we are shown the secret of Rian's friend, Woo-jin, who was having a relationship with his teacher, Han-ji. The next day, Rian still appeared upset after remembering Jae receiving a kiss from Kang-ha the previous night. At that moment, Rian's mother, the owner of the elite Jusin High School and the top leader of the Jusin Group, which operates in business, comes to see him. However, her position has strained the relationship between Rian and his mother, making it less warm than a typical mother-son relationship, where his mother is always busy with her work and business, leaving Rian disappointed as they only meet a few times a year and he doesn't receive the attention and affection he longs for from her. In his disappointment, Rian immediately rushes to school. At school, Kang-ha saw his old middle school friend named Taeho. However, Taeho avoided him because he didn't want to be seen as close to Kang-ha by the other students. It turns out that Taeho was labeled as a rich kid because his father owned a 5-star hotel. After that, Kang-ha encounters Rian and plans his revenge. Previously, a scholarship student told Kang-ha the reason why his older brother, Kang In-han, was killed. It turns out In-han had a close relationship with Jae, and she was the strong reason why Rian dared to go to such lengths against In-han. Therefore, Kang-ha plans to get close to Jae to take revenge on Rian. Meanwhile, Rian was seen meets Jae and asks why she seemed to enjoy the kiss with Kang-ha, assuming that she likes Kang-ha. However, Jae doesn't reveal anything and tells Rian that it's none of his business. This angers Rian, and he tells Jae that he will not stop until he finds out why she ended their relationship and what secrets she is hiding. Rian also vows to teach Kang-ha a lesson for daring to kiss her. Shortly after, Rian instructs his friends to ensure that all students avoid or even refuse to befriend Kang-ha. If anyone disobeys, they will be treated as enemies by him and will be in the same status as Kang Ha. Hearing this, Chan Min planned to do something against Kang Ha. But Kang Ha just laughed at it because Chan Min was plotting something bad right in front of him. This caused a tense situation between them, which was eventually stopped by Han Ji. Sometime later, on his way home, Kang Ha meets Jae and apologizes for kissing her out of the blue. However, Jae says it's not a big deal but asks Kang Ha to leave Jusin High School because Rian is now targeting him, and leaving is the only way to save himself. Hearing this, Kang Ha simply smiles and says he will handle it, and is happy that Jae didn't reject him when he kissed her. Unfortunately, Jae remains cold and unresponsive, quickly leaving the scene. Meanwhile, Rian reflects on the beautiful moments they shared while dating and still wonders why Jae broke up with him. Shortly after, Hera arrives and tells him that Jae had come to the front of Rian's hotel, indicating that she still has feelings for him. Hera then suggested that Rian date another woman to make Jae jealous and provoke her into revealing the reason for their breakup. However, Rian did not immediately agree, as he was still considering this plan. On the other hand, Woojin meets Jae and realizes that she is dealing with some issues on her own, so Woojin immediately offers his help to her. In the middle of their conversation, Woojin receives a call from Hanji, making Jae aware that Woojin also has secrets. After Woojin leaves, Jae receives another threat from the mysterious account that continues to threaten to release a secret video of her. This makes Jae recall the past, feeling anxious about something that happened to her. It turned out that Inhan, Kang Ha's older brother, was there to comfort and help Jae. However, strangely, Inhan had a hidden camera inside a pin, making Jae even more terrified and curious about the identity of the person behind the anonymous account terrorizing her. She continued to feel anxious and afraid, especially because her father knew her dark secret, fearing that he would either deny it or even hurt her. At school, Kang Ha sees Rian and his friend Yoon Suk sharing a substance suspected to be illegal drugs. Because of this, Kang Ha remembered that his older brother had once told him that he was forced to take drugs by Rian's circle. Kang Ha, who previously doubted his brother's words, now believes in the corruption at Jusin High School, where law and justice are controlled by Rian. Shortly after, Rian noticed Kang Ha staring at him and asked why he kept bothering him. Kang Ha simply replied that he would continue trying to destroy the corrupt school environment. Hearing this, Rian challenged Kang Ha to see how long he could last. After that, Kang Ha reports the suspected drug transaction involving Rian to Hanji, but Hanji seems unwilling to get involved and ignores his request to check Yoon Suk's locker. Because of this, Kang Ha then threatens to expose the school's dark secrets to the media, forcing Hanji to comply and open Yoon Suk's locker. When the locker is opened, the substance turns out to be antidepressants, commonly used by students to cope with study fatigue. On the other hand, Jae asks Hera to find out how to uncover the identity of the mysterious account. Hearing this, Hera asks if something bad has happened to her and Jae explains that she is being terrorized by someone, prompting Hera to quickly call her friend because the secret video of Jae was recorded during Woojin's birthday party. Sometime later, Jusin High School organizes a field trip where Rian Circle plans to eliminate Kang Ha, betting a large sum of money on whether he will be taken down. At that moment, Yoon Suk invites Tae-ho to join the bet. Initially, Tae-ho is reluctant, but fearing exposure of his friendship with Kang Ha, he reluctantly agrees. At the same time, Kang Ha is warned by the class president to avoid encounters with Rian's subordinates, as he overheard Chan Min's conversation about eliminating him that night. Meanwhile, Hera asks why a mysterious account is daring to terrorize Jae, but she doesn't reveal the real reason, making Hera speculate that Jae has a secret. In the middle of their conversation, Woojin arrives and invites them to hang out together. However, Jae looks annoyed and uncomfortable with Rian's presence and decides to leave. Seeing this, Rian immediately stops Jae and asks her to be friends and stop avoiding him. Unfortunately, Jae ignores Rian's request, recalling his previous desperate attempts to uncover the reason for their breakup. In her frustration, Jae meets Kang Ha, who is on his way to buy medicine at the pharmacy. Jae, feeling the need for a break from her complicated situation, decides to go with Kang Ha. Seeing this, Rian becomes furious, while Jae thoroughly enjoys the scenery and the beautiful atmosphere of the place. While they both took shelter from the rain, Kang Ha was captivated and amazed by Jae's sweet smile as she played with a small dog. However, Jae fell silent when she noticed Kang Ha staring at her. At that moment, Kang Ha asked why Jae, a rich girl who could have anything she wanted, rarely smiled. Hearing this, Jae explains that she cannot smile casually at just anyone and must maintain her family's dignity. As the rain lightens up, Jae quickly suggests they go home, and Kang-ha shows some concern for her by lending her his shirt to keep her warm. When they arrived at the villa, Jae invited Kang-ha inside while drying his clothes. At the same time, Han-ji, who was on a date with Woo-jin, saw this. Meanwhile, Yoon-suk's subordinate, who was planning to take out Kang-ha, was frustrated because he had not yet appeared at the villa. Back at Jae's villa, while they were waiting for Kang-ha's clothes to dry, a tired Kang-ha decided to lean on Jae. At that time, Jae revealed that she wasn't angry or upset when Kang-ha kissed her. Hearing this, Kang-ha considered kissing Jae again, but she noticed that Kang-ha was wearing a bracelet similar to the one In-han used to wear, making her curious about his identity. However, the moment was interrupted when Rian, informed by Woo-jin, burst in with the principal to catch them, stopping the kiss. The next day, unable to bear Jae's closeness with Kang-ha, Rian decides to follow Hera's advice, where he pretends to date her to make Jae jealous and reveal why she broke up with him, while keeping her away from Kang-ha. On the other hand, Jae seemed to want to investigate Kang-ha's identity. However, Kang-ha was being disciplined by the school for the incident the previous night, and the school planned to expel him for daring to kiss Jae. At that moment, Jae suddenly appeared and declared that Kang-ha was not at fault because she was the one who had invited him to her villa. This leaves the school authorities helpless, as Jae holds the second highest hierarchy after Rian. Seeing how much Jae cared about Kang-ha, Rian opposed her actions to save Kang-ha from punishment. Then Jae suddenly declared that she liked Kang-ha, which made Rian even angrier and realized that she was doing this because the bracelet Kang-ha wore had a significant connection to In-han, someone who had once been close to her. After that, Jae asks Kang-ha his real reason for enrolling at Jusin High School. But he doesn't reveal his true motive and instead claims that he aims to become the top graduate of Jusin High School and surpass Jae as the smartest student. This makes Jae even more curious about Kang-ha, and she tries to find out if Kang-ha has any siblings because she believes he resembles her old friend In-han. The next day, Jae continues to get closer to Kang-ha by picking him up to go to school together. On the way, Jae asks about the bracelet Kang-ha is wearing, where he claims it is a symbol for his music group. Upon arriving at school, the elite students were stunned to see Jae, the most respected conglomerate student, arriving in the same car as Kang-ha, the scholarship student. Jae was unashamed as Kang-ha held her hand while entering the school, making the students and the principal suspect they were dating. At that moment, Jae didn't hesitate to show their closeness in front of Rian and his circle of conglomerates. Shortly after, when Jae allowed Kang-ha to join a special class reserved for Rian and his circle, it made Rian even more upset with their closeness. At the same time, Hera used this moment to push Rian to announce their fake relationship status to provoke Jae, but Rian remained silent. Since getting close to Jae, Kang-ha became popular among the students and highly respected. Even Chanmin, Yoon-suk's subordinate, immediately apologized to Kang-ha for attempting to harm him, fearing that his father, who worked at Jae's father's company, would be fired. Hearing this, Kang-ha realized that the people at Jusin High School lacked courage and were deeply afraid of the hierarchical system dominated by students from conglomerate families. On the other hand, Woo-jin, observing the closeness between Kang-ha and Jae, believed that their closeness would only be temporary and that Jae likely had another motive for getting close to Kang-ha. Not long after, when Kang-ha was opening his locker, he found a written message warning him not to dare oppose Rian, as it was the beginning of In-han's death. However, the paper fell right in front of Rian, and upon reading the note, he was stunned and glared sharply at Kang-ha. After that, Kang-ha received a mysterious message from someone inviting him to meet. Meanwhile, Rian was feeling frustrated and played by Jae, who watched him with anger during his match. To retaliate, Rian decided to display his relationship with Hera by kissing her in front of Jae, hoping to provoke her into revealing why she ended their relationship. However, Jae remained calm and unaffected, while Sonu, who had a crush on Hera, felt heartbroken. After that, Sonu asked Hera why she was dating Rian, reminding her that they had been intimate before. Unfortunately, Hera explained that she was only curious about Sonu's athletic body, which broke his heart after hearing this. Hera then asked Sonu to stop pursuing her as she was now dating Rian. Elsewhere, the principal was seen copying a secret file about Rian and his circle, then handing it over to Rian's mother. It turned out that if this file were made public, it could damage Rian's reputation. Therefore, the school was meticulous and detailed in keeping this file secret. Meanwhile, Kang Ha meets the person who invited him to meet, who turns out to be Tae-ho. It turned out, Tae-ho still considers Kang Ha a friend, but keeps this from Rian and his circle. At that moment, he warns Kang Ha again not to provoke Rian by getting close to Jae-yi, as she could also be dangerous for Kang Ha, considering her long-standing relationship with Rian. Kang Ha then explains that he is deliberately getting close to Jae-yi to unsettle Rian and expose the wrongdoings of Rian and his circle. Struggling to get close to them, Kang Ha asks Tae-ho to help hack the code for Rian's locker, believing it contains evidence of his crimes, such as drug transactions. Unbeknownst to them, their conversation is overheard by the class president, whose motives for eavesdropping are unclear. That night, Jae-yi meets Rian and asks why he kissed Hae-ra. Feeling that his plan is working, Rian tries to further provoke Jae-yi by calling Hae-ra affectionately in front of Jae-yi and asking her to come over. Hearing this, Jae-yi immediately leaves and runs into Hae-ra on the way. At that time, Jae-yi immediately warns Hae-ra not to follow Rian's foolish plan, as it will only lead to regret. But Hae-ra ignores Jae-yi's warning because she genuinely has feelings for Rian. At home, Jae-yi receives another terrorizing message from the mysterious account, which worries her. Shortly after, her father calls her and informs her that she is to be arranged to marry the son of a wealthy businessman abroad. Naturally, Jae-yi objects, but her authoritarian father insists, as the marriage would secure a promising business partnership. The next day, Kang Ha invites Jae-yi for a walk to spend some time together. At that moment, Jae-yi tells Kang Ha not to like her or pursue her because staying by her side will provoke Rian to the point of potentially harming him. Hearing this, Kang Ha remains undeterred and insists on staying by Jae-yi's side, seeing loneliness and fear in her eyes. This leaves Jae-yi momentarily silent, and she leaves without saying anything. Later, Hae-ra meets Jae-yi and apologizes, claiming to be a victim and blaming Rian for forcing her to date him. Realizing Hae-ra is lying, Jae-yi warns her again not to follow Rian's plan and not to hope for a relationship with him, as Hae-ra is not at his level. After that, Jae-yi tells Hae-ra to keep looking for the mysterious account that is terrorizing her. Not long after, Jae-yi and all the Jusin High School students attended an event hosted by Rian's mother at the school. Meanwhile, Hae-ra's father informed her that his collaboration with the Jusin group was not going well, and he would need to negotiate a partnership with Jae-yi's father's company. This distressed Hae-ra, as she didn't want her father to become subordinate to Jae-yi's father. Unfortunately, with her father's company on the brink of bankruptcy, Hae-ra had no choice but to accept the partnership. When Hae-ra's father asked Jae-yi to introduce his father to him, Ji coldly refused. This enraged Hae-ra. Meanwhile, after giving a speech, Rian's mother met with Jae-yi's father. Initially, they exchanged pleasantries and praised each other's achievements. However, when a businessman suggested that Jae-yi and Rian would make a good match if they were betrothed, their conversation took a turn. Whether due to rivalry or disapproval of the potential match, Rian's mother and Jae-yi's father began to undermine and belittle each other. Amid this tense moment, Hae-ra, angry at Jae-yi, seized the opportunity to disgrace her in front of the conglomerates by revealing to Jae-yi's father that Kang Ha was her boyfriend. After this incident, Jae-yi's father was disappointed and angry with Jae-yi, questioning how she could date a scholarship student. Jae-yi then explained that she was only helping Kang Ha and that people had misunderstood her actions. However, her father, who believed in maintaining high status, warned Jae-yi to stay away from Kang Ha to protect the company's image. To minimize gossip, he also ordered Jae-yi to go abroad because the man she was to be arranged with was conducting business in America. Meanwhile, Kang Ha and Tae-ho secretly opened Rian's locker. At that moment, Tae-ho asked what Kang Ha was looking for, and he revealed his suspicion that drugs were in Rian's locker. When Tae-ho managed to open the locker, Kang Ha's attention was diverted to a photo of Jae-yi displayed inside, where she looked happy and carefree. The scene then showing a flashback where the joyful and close romantic relationship between Jae-yi and Rian was seen, but it was unclear why Jae-yi ended their long-standing relationship. Seeing the photo, Kang Ha felt that Jae-yi might still have feelings for Rian. The next day, Jae-yi met Kang Ha and apologized for the previous incident, as he had been caught up in Hae-ra's actions. At that moment, she also advised Kang Ha to stay away from Rian for his safety. However, Kang Ha was undeterred by the potential consequences of dealing with Rian. Instead, Kang Ha asked Jae why she broke up with Rian despite still having feelings for him, but she did not answer and told Kang Ha not to interfere in the matter. Seeing Jae looking anxious and unsettled, Kang Ha suggests they start a genuine relationship instead of pretending, as he wants to be by her side. Hearing this, Jae immediately remembers In-han saying the same thing and feels that Kang Ha resembles him. Because of this, Jae leaves without responding to Kang Ha's proposal. On the way, Jae accidentally bumped into Hanji, but did not apologize, making Hanji feel disrespected and demand an apology. However, when Jae noticed Hanji carrying a designer bag given by Woojin, she instead threatened to reveal her secret. Meanwhile, the class president meets Tae-ho and reveals that he knows about his close friendship with Kang Ha and overheard their conversation at the cafe. However, the class president won't spread Tae-ho's secret because he feels Kang Ha resembles In-han. On the other hand, Kang Ha receives a video from a mysterious account where he sees footage of In-han being harassed and ultimately killed by Rian's subordinates because he dared to get close to Jae. Seeing this makes Kang Ha both angry and sad about what happened to his brother. Shortly after, Hera arrives and tells Kang Ha that the person who killed In-han was Jae. Whether Hera is telling the truth or trying to manipulate Kang Ha to retaliate against Jae, Kang Ha doesn't immediately believe her and realizes how cunning the people at Jusin High School are, willing to do anything to achieve their goals. Sometime later, in class, Jae receives another terrifying threat from the mysterious account, which sends her a video of her engaged in an intimate act with a man. This panics Jae, causing her to leave the class abruptly. Seeing this, Kang Ha immediately followed her, but Rian quickly stopped him and blamed Kang Ha, saying that his presence was the reason for Jae's strange and frightening behavior. According to him, Kang Ha, a scholarship student, had tarnished Jae's high status. In response, Kang Ha brought up In-han's death, which he claimed was caused by Rian. This left Rian speechless and curious about who Kang Ha really was. Rian then asks Woojin to find out Kang Ha's true identity because he is curious about why Kang Ha continues to bother him without any fear. Meanwhile, Jae and Hera meet again, where she asks if Hera has discovered the identity of the mysterious account terrorizing her. Hera then reveals that the owner of the account is one of their classmates, but she doesn't know who it is. Still angry about Jae's treatment of her father, Hera retaliates by confessing that she likes Rian and intends to make him hers. Additionally, she admits that she has always been interested in Rian and only stepped aside for Jae for the sake of their friendship. Hearing this, Jae does not get angry and tells Hera that she can have Rian if she can, effectively ending their friendship. Despite Hera's betrayal, she still feels guilty because their bond had been strong since childhood. On the other hand, Woojin receives Kang Ha's identity form from Hanji and promptly gives it to Rian, but nothing unusual is found in his identity. Yet, Rian still feels something is off. Meanwhile, Kang Ha informs Tae-ho about the anonymous account that sent him the video of his brother being killed by Rian's subordinates. Kang Ha also tells Tae-ho about Hera's claim that Jae was responsible for his brother's death. Hearing this, Tae-ho warns Kang Ha to be cautious of Jae, as she might be conspiring with Rian. However, Kang Ha is confident that Jae wouldn't do such a thing and believes she is very different from Rian and his circle. Elsewhere, Jae and her father were discussing her arranged marriage with the son of a conglomerate, a man named Park. It turned out that Jae was not interested in Park and felt increasingly insecure when she received another threat from the mysterious account, which was a photo of her positive pregnancy test. Seeing the photo, Jae becomes dizzy and accidentally vomits on her fiancé, causing her to faint. Since that incident, Jae has been missing from school, leaving both Kang Ha and Rian worried and puzzled about what happened to her. It turns out that Hera knows Jae's whereabouts and informs Woojin that she has been isolated by her father due to the embarrassing incident of vomiting on her fiancé. As the result, Jae will be sent abroad after the period of isolation. Hera learned this information from Jae's stepbrother, and she asks Woojin not to tell Rian about this, as this is the perfect opportunity for her to get Rian's heart. On the other hand, Jae was seen walking pensively, only to be surprised by Kang Ha, who found her location because Hera informed him and asked him to accompany Jae. At that moment, Kang Ha asks what has been happening to Jae since she disappeared. But she does not answer and instead tells Kang Ha to leave. However, Kang Ha insists on staying and helping Jae, which frustrates her because he doesn't understand the real situation. as she is actually scared because she is being terrorized by the mysterious account on social media. In the end, Jae finally tells Kang Ha that she is being harassed by someone online. Hearing this, Kang Ha asked if Jae did anything to provoke this harassment, to which she gave a shocking answer, admitting that she was the one who killed In-han. Meanwhile, Rian, who has been investigating Kang Ha's true identity, finally learns that he is In-han's younger brother, the scholarship student who died. Shortly after, Hera arrives and informs him that Jae is at a villa and will soon be picked up by her fiancé to go abroad. At that moment, Hera hopes this will make Rian give up on Jae, but contrary to her expectations, Rian immediately rushes to meet Jae. Back to Kang Ha, who is shocked by Jae's confession of being responsible for his brother's death. However, Jae is equally surprised when Kang Ha reveals that In-han was his older brother. This revelation makes Jae feel deceived by Kang Ha because he continuously tried to get close to her. Kang Ha then explains that his initial plan was indeed to get close to Jae to gather information about his brother. But after witnessing the cunning nature of the elite students at Jusin High School, he realized that Jae was the only student from a wealthy family who still showed sympathy and care for the scholarship students. Because of this, Kang Ha now genuinely wants to be by Jae's side and doesn't believe that she was responsible for his brother's death. Additionally, he is still searching for the true reason behind his brother's death and the cover-up by the police. So, Kang Ha asks Jae for help in uncovering the truth, but Jae, still distressed, leaves. When Kang Ha tries to follow her, Rian suddenly appears and stops him from approaching Jae. Knowing that Kang Ha is In-han's younger brother, Rian asks if he seeks revenge. Hearing this, Kang Ha just smiles, leading to a fight between them. Seeing the commotion made Jae dizzy and weak, while the truth about one of the many issues that made Jae anxious, worried, and insecure was finally revealed. Where her stepbrother, Jae-hyuk, had a video recording of her being intimate with a man. It turned out, Jae-hyuk threatened Jae to sign over all inheritance rights from their father to him. If she refused, Jae-hyuk would show the video to their father. This would cause Jae to lose her inheritance rights and be disowned from the family registry. During that troubling time, In-han was there to help and comfort Jae. Unfortunately, his involvement brought great misfortune as Rian wouldn't let anyone get close to Jae. At that moment, Jae's empathy and concern were evident when she asked In-han to escape as Rian's subordinates were beating him. Back in the present, due to the fight between Kang Ha and Rian, Kang Ha is given two options as punishment by the principal, which expulsion from Jusin High School or transfer to another school. It turned out, the principal considers scholarship students as outsiders and believes that expelling a troublesome student wouldn't harm the school. As Kang Ha is seen as a bad influence on other students, unfazed by the punishment, Kang Ha reveals that he had been recording the principal's derogatory remarks about scholarship students being outsiders. This makes the principal and Hanji powerless to expel Kang Ha, fearing the recording will be made public. At the same time, Rian orders Yoon-suk to take care of In-han once and for all and to warn other scholarship students not to mess with him. Not long after, Rian meets Jae and asks her to stay close to him at school because he fears Kang Ha might do something bad to her. However, Jae explains that Kang Ha would never do such a thing and asks Rian not to see her again because she plans to go abroad. Because of this, Jae feels that she only brings bad luck to those around her. Hearing this, Rian strongly disagrees with Jae's decision and is determined to do anything to stop her from going abroad. When Jae arrives home, she finds Hera waiting for her and gives her an invitation to a party, where she arrogantly stating that the party is being held so she can confess her feelings to Rian. Hearing this, Jae is not bothered at all and even encourages Hera, wishing her luck and having her feelings accepted by Rian because she realizes that Rian is unlikely to reciprocate her feelings. The next day, Tae-ho is seen being beaten up by Yoon-suk because he just found out that Tae-ho was a close friend of Kang Ha during middle school. Seeing this, Kang Ha arrives and stops Yoon-suk's brutal actions, saying that Yoon-suk is just Rian's henchman who likes to bully weaker students. This leads to another fight between the two. The class president, seeing Tae-ho badly beaten, quickly takes him away. Where Tae-ho then tells Kang Ha that he can no longer help him uncover who killed his brother because he fears getting into more trouble, especially since his parents expect him to be the top graduate of Jusin High School. Sometime later, it is finally revealed that the identity of the mysterious account owner who had been terrorizing Jae was the class president, Namjoon. As the principal's son, Namjoon could easily access the secret files of the elite students. At that moment, Namjoon was seen once again threaten Jae-yi with exposing her secret video to the public, which made her even more worried as she prepared to go abroad for her engagement. Because of this, Jae-yi then asks Kang-ha for help in finding out the identity of the mysterious account owner, because if the secret video is released, not only her reputation will be tarnished, but Rian's as well. It turned out that Jae-yi's secret video showed her having been intimate with Rian. Hearing this, Kang-ha refuses to help Jae-yi because he does not want to assist Rian, whom he suspects killed his brother. However, Jae-yi explains that Rian is not the culprit and offers herself as the one to blame for his brother's death as part of the agreement. Kang-ha still refuses to make the agreement, but he plans to find the mysterious account owner because this person also has a video of his brother, which might reveal why his brother was killed. On the other hand, Hera returns home puzzled to find many company officials at her house. She is shocked to learn that her father's company has gone bankrupt and her parents' assets are being seized. This saddens Hera as she had planned a big party that night to confess her feelings to Rian. That night, at the party, Hera was seen dressed simply, surprising Woo-jin, who was used to seeing her in glamorous attire. But Hera simply responded that she wanted to appear simple. At that moment, Namjoon, who was also there, looked shocked when he received a message from a mysterious person asking how he had obtained the secret videos of the elite students at Jusin High School. It turned out that the sender was Kang-ha, who had discovered that Namjoon was the owner of the mysterious account terrorizing Jae-yi. Kang-ha had previously found an accessory belonging to Namjoon at his brother's grave. However, Kang-ha did not confront him directly, but instead planned to question him further about the secrets of Jusin High School that Namjoon knew. Not long after, Hera anxiously waited for Rian, who had not yet arrived. At the same time, she saw news about Jae-yi's fiancé being arrested by the police on drug charges. It turned out that this was orchestrated by Rian to prevent Jae-yi from leaving her to go abroad with her fiancé, as Rian would not let anyone have Jae-yi except himself. After that, Rian brought Jae-yi to the party and announced that they were officially back together. He also warned the students there to stay away from Jae-yi, especially Kang-ha. The scene then showing a flashback of Jae-yi and Rian being intimate. At that moment, they appeared unable to control their desires, which led to Jae-hyuk, Jae-yi's stepbrother, secretly recording everything. Now, Hera, realizing she has lost to Jae-yi and feeling used by Rian, is very disappointed and vows to take revenge on them. Hearing this, Jae-yi asks Woo-jin to take Hera home. However, an enraged Hera tries to confront Jae-yi, but Woo-jin restrains her. Amid her disappointment and failure to win Rian, Hera faces another unexpected consequence, as her bankrupt father can only provide her with a small apartment to live in. Meanwhile, Rian takes Jae-yi out for dinner, where she asks Rian to apologize to Kang-ha because, in her opinion, the hierarchy of power and violence at the school is indirectly caused by Rian's influence. She also says that Rian and his circle are responsible for In-han's death. Unfortunately, Rian, feeling prideful and not at fault, refuses to apologize to Kang-ha. The next day, at school, Kang-ha and Namjoon are seen discussing a plan, where Namjoon proposes a deal to Kang-ha to destroy the corrupt system and expose the power hierarchy at Jusin High School by releasing the video of Jae-yi and Rian. It turns out that Namjoon has secretly been ambitious about toppling Jusin High School's power structure, which is dominated by Rian and Jae-yi, because his mother, the principal, is so obedient to Rian, even covering up crimes. Hearing this, Kang-ha considers Namjoon's offer but hesitates because he cares about Jae-yi and doesn't want to ruin her future by releasing the video. Kang-ha, who shares the same goal of exposing Jusin High School's corrupt power system, plans to find another way that won't involve Jae-yi. On the other hand, Woo-jin is informed by his mother that his father, who is running for president, is gaining support from the head of Jaeil Group, Jae-yi's father. Apparently, Woo-jin's parents had discovered the secret about Jae-yi by showing a photo of her visiting a clinic for pregnant women in America, indicating that she might be pregnant. Faced with this situation, Woo-jin urgently meets Jae-yi and asks her to decide whether to inform Rian or leave the country. Woo-jin also explains that if she doesn't make a decision soon, it could ruin their friendship. Hearing this, Jae-yi explains that her feelings for Rian haven't changed, but distancing herself from him is the only way to prevent Rian from discovering what she is going through. Jae-yi then promises that she will soon make a decision. After that, Jae-yi meets Kang-ha, and asks about his current plan, where he explains that he has identified the person terrorizing Jae-yi on social media. Fortunately, this person has the same goal as him: to expose the corruption at Jusin High School, which gives Kong Ha a powerful weapon to bring down the corrupt system at Jusin. However, Kong Ha does not want to involve Jae-yi in his revenge plan, as he believes that Jae-yi is the only person different from the elite students at Jusin High School, and with this, Jae-yi will no longer be terrorized by the mysterious account owner. Hearing this, Jae-yi feels relieved but still maintains her love for Rian and declares that if Kong Ha attacks Rian, she will be at the forefront to protect him. On the other hand, Hanji was seen in the car given by Woo Jin, trying to meet with Woo Jin because he had been avoiding her and was difficult to reach. At that moment, Woo Jin told Hanji not to use the car because it would be dangerous if people recognized her. Additionally, he decided to end their romantic relationship, admitting that he never had feelings for Hanji and only used her to satisfy his desires. In reality, Woo Jin had feelings for Hera but had not yet dared to express them. After that, Woo Jin's words broke Hanji's heart, as she believed their relationship was serious. Devastated, Hanji left him with deep disappointment. Meanwhile, Rian is studying when he receives a video from a mysterious account showing him and Jae-yi having an intimate moment. This enrages Rian, and he immediately orders his subordinates to find the account owner, while he meets with Jae-yi to inform her about the video recording. But Jae-yi, already aware of this, says nothing. Elsewhere, Kong Ha meets with the principal and asks her to help him expose all the dark secrets of Jusin High School that she knows. Unfortunately, the principal dismisses him and asks why he dares to go this far. Kong Ha then reveals that he has strong evidence that will bring down Jusin High School. Namjoon, who overhears the conversation, becomes furious because Kong Ha wants to involve his mother. However, Kong Ha explains that he is following Namjoon's own advice to destroy the corrupt system of Jusin High School from the top. And one of the top adults at Jusin High School is Namjoon's mother. This enrages Namjoon, who feels that Kong Ha is doing this to avoid involving Jae-yi. He then reveals that he has another secret about Jae-yi, but he is shocked when Jae-yi overhears their conversation and realizes that Namjoon is the owner of the mysterious account that has been terrorizing her. At that moment, Jae-yi tells Kong Ha that she will personally report the secret video of her and Rian to her parents and the school. Although this will damage her reputation and her parents, her father and Rian will try to cover up the scandal, and her father will send her back abroad to minimize the scandal. This leaves Kong Ha puzzled as to why Jae-yi is willing to bear the burden alone, and she explains that everything she does is for Rian, as he means everything to her. Additionally, Jae-yi reveals that she was pregnant and had gone abroad alone to terminate the pregnancy. Although the termination failed, the baby seemed to understand her situation and she miscarried. This is why Jae-yi ended her relationship with Rian, not wanting him to know the secret and be saddened. In the end, Jae-yi tells Kong Ha that she will protect Rian from his revenge. On the other hand, Woo Jin meets Hera and asks how she has been since she hasn't attended school for a while. But Hera says that she plans to leave school. Hearing this, Woo Jin persuades Hera to return and not be afraid of facing Jae-yi, as he is now on her side. When Hera meets Jae-yi, she initially resents her for winning over Rian, but eventually accepts her defeat, remembering their friendship. Hera, who knows Jae-yi's secret, is angry at her for bearing the burden alone and not telling her. It turns out Hera knew about the secret video of Jae-yi and Rian from Jae-hyuk, who had shown it to her earlier. Because of this, she immediately informs Rian that the person who recorded the video is Jae-yi's stepbrother, Jae-hyuk. Hearing this, an enraged Rian rushes to confront Jae-hyuk and teach him a lesson. Not long after, Kong Ha arrives and stops Rian's actions. Still furious, Rian tries to attack Kong Ha, but is shocked when Kong Ha reveals Jae-yi's secret about her past pregnancy. That night, when Hera returns home, she is surprised to see Jae-yi at her apartment. Her father then calls to inform her that his company has recovered from bankruptcy thanks to the help of Jail Group, owned by Jae-yi's father. Realizing that Jae-yi persuaded her father to save Hera's family business, Hera is moved by her kindness despite past betrayals. As Jae-yi leaves, she meets Rian, who has just learned about her past pregnancy. With tears in his eyes, Rian asks why Jae-yi didn't tell him about the pregnancy and bore the heavy burden alone. Jae-yi then explains that she didn't want to make Rian sad because the aborted baby was his and she preferred to bear the scandal alone rather than involve him, as it would harm his reputation. Hearing this, Rian feels even more sorrowful. realizing that Jae carried the burden alone, and apologizes for allowing her to live in fear. Now, Rian promises to always protect her and not let her bear the burden of the scandal alone. Meanwhile, the reason Jae will be sent abroad again finally revealed. It turned out Woojin, who discovered that Jae was pregnant, informed Jae's father and requested that he send Jae abroad, as it was the only way to save the reputation of Jae Group and Jae's public image. The scene then flashes back to the past, revealing a plot twist behind the true chronology of In-han's death, Kang Ha's older brother. It turns out the killer was neither Rian nor Jae, but Hanji. On that day, while having a kiss with Woojin, In-han was seen being chased by Rian's circle. Hanji, who not wanting her actions to be reported by In-han, decided to chase him in the car given by Woojin. During the chase, Hanji tried to explain to In-han over the phone, but In-han, already horrified by the madness he had seen at Jusin High School, decided to call Kang Ha to tell him everything. Seeing this, Hanji accidentally ran over In-han, killing him. In her panic, Hanji then took In-han's phone, shocked to find her own face on it being recorded. Additionally, she discovered that In-han had recorded everything with a hidden camera inside a pin. So, Hanji took the phone and pin to eliminate the evidence. After that, the reason Woojin told Hanji not to use the car anymore was because it was the car she used to kill In-han. It was also revealed that In-han had entered Jusin High School with the same purpose as Kang Ha, to expose the corrupt hierarchical system of the school. Back in the present, Kang Ha, having resolved his determination, reports the corruption at Jusin High School to the police. Because of this, the elite students, Rian's circle, Jae, the principal, and Hanji are all investigated. Unfortunately, they provide false statements about the violence and drugs, but only Jae is the only one to give an honest account. After the investigation, Yoon Suk and his circle are furious and threaten Kang Ha to hand over all the evidence he has. Kang Ha refuses, as only he can decide the fate of the elite students of Jusin High School. Shortly after, Jae arrives and instructs all the elite students being investigated to give honest statements during the investigation. According to Jae, this is the consequence and just retribution for what they have done to the scholarship students, including In-han, to prevent such incidents from happening again. Not long after, Kang Ha was seen confronts Woojin, who is closely tied to his brother's death. At that time, he tells Woojin that what he is doing now is just the beginning, because Kang Ha promises to exact just retribution on the elite students of Jusin High School who caused his brother's death. On the other hand, Jae meets Namjoon and asks why he has been terrorizing her, where Namjoon explains that he dislikes the power hierarchy held by Rian and Jae, which makes his mother subservient to Rian. Namjoon also wants to dismantle that hierarchy, so Jae asks if he still plans to continue his threats. Hearing this, Namjoon replies that he is still considering it. This makes Jae realize that Namjoon will not go further in threatening her, as he fears his mother will also be implicated. After that, Jae meets Kang Ha and expresses her surprise that he went as far as reporting to the police. However, Jae admires Kang Ha for his courage in exposing all the corruption at Jusin High School and avenging his brother's death. Kang Ha then explains that he had to do it because the school system should protect its students, not the other way around. Hearing this, Jae apologizes for previously insisting on protecting Rian, despite knowing that he and his circle had committed many immoral acts at school and for not stopping them. Kang Ha also apologizes to Jae for involving her and causing her trouble. After that, the two reconcile. Jae then bids farewell to Kang Ha and tells him that she will be going abroad, as it is the consequence she must face for her scandal. Kang Ha is a bit shocked by Jae's departure because he has feelings for her and even asks if she loves him. But Jae simply apologizes and says that she does not have feelings for Kang Ha. That night, Jae and Rian, with heavy hearts, mourn the loss of their unborn child. Rian even continues to blame himself, but Jae tries to comfort him. The next day, Jae and Rian visit In-han's grave, where he apologizes to In-han. After that, Jae asks Rian to also apologize to Kang Ha. Now aware of his mistakes, Rian agrees to apologize to Kang Ha but requests that Jae not go abroad. However, Jae once again explains to Rian that this is a consequence she must accept. Meanwhile, the principal, having seen the video of Hanji and Woojin being intimate, immediately tells Hanji to resign as a teacher, as her actions violate the morals and ethics expected of a teacher. Unable to deny it any longer, Hanji acknowledges her mistake and resigns. In her turmoil, Hanji becomes even more distressed when she sees Wu Jin with Heira. Full of disappointment, Hanji approaches Wu Jin and declares that she will retaliate for all his betrayals. That night, Wu Jin meets with Jie Yi and reveals the truth he has been hiding about In-han's death. At that moment, Wu Jin admits that he saw the video of Hanji hitting In-han from the hidden camera in In-han's pin. Apparently, he had kept it a secret because he feared getting involved legally, knowing that the car Hanji used was a gift from him. After that, Wu Jin gives the recording to Jie Yi, and she immediately plans to hand over the recording to Kong Ha, where Kong Ha promptly reports the recording to the police, and after investigating the car's license plate, they find that it belongs to Wu Jin's father, who is a presidential candidate. Thanks to the report, Hanji was arrested by the police for a hit-and-run crime. Similarly, Jusin High School's corrupt system and power hierarchy were exposed to the authorities. The scandal between Jie Yi and Rian also became public, causing Rian's mother, the top leader of Jusin Group, to blame the principal for failing to manage the school properly and for covering up In-han's death by Hanji from the police. Because of this, Rian's mother fired the principal, which made Namjoon happy since his mother would no longer be subservient to Jusin High School's power hierarchy. Meanwhile, Jie Yi's father, upon learning that Jie Yi's and Rian's scandal had become public, was disappointed and felt that she was no longer beneficial for his business. In a cruel and heartless manner, he expelled Jie Yi from his home. Although hurt by this, Jie Yi remained strong and indifferent to her father or the inheritance she would no longer receive. On the other hand, Rian finally apologized to Kong Ha for his mistake of allowing his circle to harm In-han. Though Rian was not the direct perpetrator, he had ordered his subordinates to harm In-han because he disliked seeing him close to Jie Yi. Hearing this, Kong Ha refused to accept Rian's apology, remembering his brother's suffering caused by his circle, indirectly leading to his brother's death. Nonetheless, Rian took responsibility for his actions and enrolled in a course for high school students to atone for what he and his circle did to In-han. Rian's mother then issued a public apology for her negligence in allowing the misconduct at Jusin High School. Sometime later, following these events, Jusin High School improved significantly, eliminating the power hierarchy and the dominance of wealthy students. Now, elite students and scholarship students could interact without the class divide between the rich and the poor. Before Jie Yi left for abroad, she bid farewell to Rian, asking him to mature and not dwell on her departure. Although it was difficult, Rian eventually accepted Jie Yi's departure, giving her a warm hug as a farewell gesture. The series concludes with Kong Ha running to catch up with Jie Yi, revealing his feelings and reluctance to let her go. Hearing this, Jie Yi explained that she had to leave as it was a decision she had to make and asked Kong Ha not to worry about her. In the end, she promised that she would return to see Kong Ha someday. And with that, the series ends. Moral lesson from the story: don't snoop in lockers looking for drugs, or you might just find a love story and a mess of drama instead. Sometimes the most dangerous thing in school is the gossip, not the gangs.